2020 Tokyo Olympic ratings have taken a plunge this year. Let's look into why. This is an article from Fox News. In the title, NBC's worst case scenario is Olympics ratings plunge amid woke protests. Now, I don't know if that's the only reason why, probably not, but it definitely is a reason. We'll get into why in a second. And the byline says experts have pointed to woke anti-US protests from American athletes as part of the lack of interest. This is by Michael Ruiz. It says NBC is giving advertisers who bought airtime during the Tokyo Olympics extra commercials due to underwhelming ratings for this year's 2020 Olympic Games, fueled by a pandemic-weary population and backlash against woke athletes protesting the U.S. flag and national anthem. NBC sports chairman Pete Bavacqua insisted to the Associated Press that the network would still make money on the 2020 Olympics, but left out details about how much. NBC's primetime coverage of the Tokyo Olympics on July 26 averaged 14.7 million viewers for a 49% drop compared to the equivalent night from 2016 Rio de Janeiro Games, and 53% less than the 2012 London Olympics. The opening ceremony saw the lowest viewership since 1988. Those are big drops, man. Variety senior TV editor Brian Steinberg wrote that the drop has spurred advertiser anxiety, which hasn't been eased by the news that legendary American gymnast Simone Biles withdrew from team competition, and fan favorite Naomi Osaka was eliminated from the tennis medal competition. He quoted a media buying executive who said the early viewership numbers clearly are not what NBC, our agency, or our clients were looking for from costly investment. He says, when you look at the numbers, it's hard to be pleased with them. Andy Billings, director of the sports communications program at the University of Alabama, told the AP, it's probably NBC's worst case scenario, but it's probably a worst case scenario that they would have been able to predict months ago. That's probably true. You can see it coming from a mile away, really. Viewership has lagged behind Rio coverage by roughly half on numerous nights of this year's competition. Anti-woke protests by American athletes condemning the U.S. National Anthem have done little to attract new viewers while alienating Republican spectators, according to Patrick Murray, director of the Monmouth University Polling Institute in New Jersey. The lingering effects of the COVID pandemic has also taken a toll. Last week, the university published a poll that found a third fewer Americans were interested in watching the games. A whopping 43% of respondents said they had little interest in watching compared to just 16% who had a lot. And while 55% of Americans felt it was a good idea to hold postponed 2020 games this year, 36% said it wasn't. The Olympic spirit is a bit dampened this year, Murray said. The delay from last year and lack of spectators have taken the edge off the typical anticipation and excitement for this event, but the emergence of Black Lives Matter in the sports world has also led to a backlash among some Americans. Not all athletes have protested the flag. The woke women's soccer team had to settle for bronze last week, but the U.S. men's basketball team took gold, and star Kevin Durant derided media critics by telling one to act like you're American. And U.S. wrestler Tamira Mensah-Stock wrapped herself in the flag and declared, quote, I love representing the U.S. I freaking love living here, after being the first female black American wrestler to win Olympic gold. By the way, this is a great video if you've seen it. Just so happy to be representing the country, so happy she won. It's very cool. But images of other athletes protesting the flag and the anthem haven't helped bring back alienated viewers. See, just over half of the Republicans said they weren't interested, cited the political protests, and the same percentage of Democrats blamed the effects of the pandemic, small crowds and less competition. And the university also quoted independents as opposing the protests. The people we sent over aren't representing the country, one Maryland man, identified as an independent in his 40s, told the pollsters. They're kneeling at the flag. He wasn't the only one who felt that way. I don't want to see virtue signaling. A 45-year-old New Jersey woman, also an independent, said, be a proud American. The decline in TV viewers doesn't tell the entire story. More people are watching online via streaming platforms, where advertising revenue is significantly lower. That's the article. Yeah, I think some of it is protesting and politics. I think this person in particular hurt some of it. The kneeling, just all that hurt some of it, but that's not the only reason. I think just lack of interest after everything that's gone on. I mean, I just think people just lost interest in it. I guess maybe the crowds had an effect. Some Democrats said they blamed the effects of the pandemic. I don't understand why that would affect it too much. Maybe it is the political stuff. I don't know. But I also want to point this out. The U.S. won the medal count, beat China by 1 in the gold medal count, won the silver count as well, beating China by 9. I don't know if anybody else had any more than China. And they won the bronze. So they just completely swept, basically. I mean, they got 113 medals and China only got 88. I say only, but congrats to the US. I'm glad they brought home the medals, and even though some of them I don't think represented the country well, I still support them because I'm an American. So there's that. But let me know what you think about the ratings. Why you think they're as low as they are? You think the kneeling, the protesting had a big effect? Do you think the effects of the pandemic had a big effect? Or do you think it's just lack of interest? Let me know. Like the video if you liked it, subscribe if you want to see more, comment, share. I have another channel called The Thoughtful Owl where I talk about news regarding Marvel, DC, Star Wars, Indiana Jones, gaming news, etc. So if you're interested in stuff like that, go check it out. I'm working on the Suicide Squad review. So if you're interested in stuff like that, go check it out. I'm working on the Suicide Squad review. That should hopefully be out next week, so look out for that. And see you next time. Bye-bye.